Hello, Brian Nolder wrote just a little while ago and said he'd like a video. I've never done one of these before, but my son, who's in Korea, I asked him to help me, and he said that there's a program on the computer, sure enough, where you can tape record yourself. So I'm doing that right now. I'm Blake Purcell here in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I just returned from 2 weeks in the Far East, just north of North Korea, where we had an intensive course and a conference with Jim Jordan, Greg Lawrence, David Shorman, and myself. It was our first time to run a pastor's training intensive 2-week intensive course out there. First time, of course, to have a conference as well. The conference was called Be Ye Holy, for I Am Holy. And the courses we taught were, I taught the Gospels, Greg Lawrence taught the history of the doctrine of the Trinity and the scriptural doctrine of the Trinity. Jim Jordan did an introduction to biblical theology, and David Shorman did really kind of two things, but mainly, third time around, George, oh my goodness. Anyway, a great book about the scriptures against abortion and the sanctity of life, and then the three phases of the fight against abortion. So, of course, abortion is a huge problem here in Russia, even more so than in the United States. So, the men out there were very, very thankful that we came. There are 5 pastors in the group of 8 that we trained, and then 3 preachers, assistants in churches. So that's more pastors than we've ever trained in one setting before. The reason there's so many people that are interested out there is that it's really 2 things. The main reason is because before the Revolution, Presbyterians were out there, actually, mainly, I think, from Korea. And then after the Revolution here in 1990, Korean churches got there and shared the word, recruited a number of Russians, but we're not able to take them that far in church history or doctrine or scripture. So those men, actually in 1999, we had a man from the Far East from the very beginning, and from Ussurisk out there, just about an hour and a half north of Vladivostok. So we've had relationships out there since 1999, our very first class at the seminary. And God has just slowly but surely introduced us to more and more people out there. Kirill is the older gentleman out there, and he has been befriending and mentoring and just moving the pastors in that area, the Russian pastors, along and helping them to grow in the Lord and helping them to want to and see that they need to continue their studies and their training and being mentored. So he has been the key out there. And then Yuri is really the dynamite behind. He's kind of the bad cop for the good cop, bad cop combo out there. And Yuri has really been over backwards to recruit those men that just came. So both those men have a burning desire to see a reformed movement of churches out there. And Yuri and Kirill both would love to join the CREC, and we would love to find churches to adopt them. So that's what we're working on. Eric Sauter is. But as Brian will tell you, basically what we need in the short haul are 40 churches to give $100 a month. We run these pastors' intensive courses, not only the one in the Far East, which is the first time we've done that, but we have one here in European Russia. We had 8 men in training here as well. There were 2 pastors. A new country has been added to our list of countries we're ministering in. He was from Latvia, and his name was Timur. The interesting thing, too, is out in the Far East, one of the men that came into training was an Uzbek who would like to plant a church in Uzbekistan, which is a pretty strong Islamic country in the south of Russia, a former Soviet republic. So we are just delighted. The Lord keeps opening up doors, but our funding is a major issue, and we really can't continue to raise one-time gifts twice a year. It's just too stressful, and we end up not really raising things on time. So the March intensive course that's supposed to go on, including and travels that I need to make, are really still up in the air, and we need to get those 40 churches getting $100 a month starting now, so that we can begin to accumulate money for March and be able to run both programs in Europe and in the Far East. So it's a wonderful opportunity. The Lord has been, as I said, has been working really every single season of the ministry. About every 2 or 3 years, the Lord opens up a new door to a whole new group of pastors. And if the Lord is faithful through Reformed churches in the United States, we will very easily see 10 churches of a CREC presbytery raised up here. But it's going to take 10 churches actually getting involved, coming over here on a regular basis. 10 CREC churches. Right now we only have 2 that really do that. And it's going to take lots more involvement and a lot more financial involvement as well. So same old story, but I'm just thrilled. We've been here 20 years and we've never had such open doors and so many mature men. Yuri himself is actually 45 years old, and I'll just go ahead and run through the little tapes you're going to see. Yuri's 45. He was a bandit. He was in the Russian army. Then he became a bandit. Then, as usual, he was in prison 2 years. In prison, he got a Bible. And after prison, 2 years after prison, about 1994, 95, he came to the Lord. He married a wonderful Christian girl 3 or 4 years after that. And they have 3 boys now. And Yuri's a pastor of a growing church. You need to see a picture of that church somehow, if we can get it to you. So that's a thrill. And then he really has a vision for the whole area of recruiting more and more Reformed teaching to go on, teachers to go there, and more Reformed teaching to take place out there. So he's a real encouragement, as well as Kirill. Kirill actually ran the program administratively and logistically. His wife did a lot of the cooking, as well as some of the other women. So that was very encouraging. The men were very well fed. The other men you'll see, the older man, one of them is Ruslan, and he was a former drug addict. He has a partner up near Nehotka in the Primorsky Krai, which is that part of Russia that hangs down along the Pacific Ocean that borders with North Korea and China. That's called the Primorsky Krai. All that means is the area near the sea. Primorsky just means near sea, near sea, near the ocean. Anyway, Ruslan was a former drug addict, came to the Lord. His daughter's studying here in St. Petersburg, but unfortunately, a lot of these men came to the Lord after they had already had wives and children. So his wife's a strong Christian, but their daughter is not. So have some real challenges in that area. But she came last night to pick up a package from her dad. So Ruslan is a man that's built his own church building and is planning a church in a small village. He's in his 40s as well. And then you will see Konstantin. He's a number 2 pastor of a large church in the Primorsky Krai. That'll be a challenge because he has a Korean pastor. The other man there is Nadir, who is the Uzbek that would like to plant a church in Uzbekistan. And his father's family is well respected and high, and has an uncle that's high up in the government in Uzbekistan. So even though they became Christians, his father has, and I believe his uncle has too, the Muslims have not threatened their lives yet because they're afraid of the power of their family. So that's a very good thing. Who else do you have a movie of? Kostya, Ruslan, Constant. There's one other that I've forgotten now. But overall, Slava. Slava has a large church and is the head pastor, has a wife, and I think 3 kids. So there's 2 of the pastors in our training out in the Far East that have 3 kids. He's a smart guy, very intelligent, and has just a ton of potential. All these men have a ton of potential. They're gifted leaders. You can just see it. They're trying to plant churches, though, in the middle of very, very broken down people, and so it's going to be a challenge for them. They need all the encouragement they can get, and they need folks like y'all to get involved in their lives and have them come visit you and you visit them. and it'll inspire you to see what they're doing. So, God bless you, Brian. Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. Keep up the good work, and God bless Brian for just stepping up and volunteering to do the hard work of representing the training wing of the CREC Eurasia Ministry. We appreciate it, Brian. God bless you all. Bye-bye.